to or back to the channel. My name is Misty, and if you are new to the channel, thanks so much for joining. Today I am bringing you another episode of our Decades Legacy Challenge, and we are in the 1940s. So I do want to show you what changes are happening in the 1940s, as well as to go over some of the rules before we jump in and get started with today's episode. So as you know, we are having some changes in the house. As you know, in the last episode, we did lose our dear sweet Liam, and so our family is mourning the loss of Liam and some of the others. Well, we lost our dear sweet Judd, so we have some losses in the family, and we are doing some mourning from losing some people in the family. So as we know, poor Gemma is really having a hard time with this, and so she is crying it out. So we have had some changes in the house. I have gone ahead and changed up the kitchen a little bit. As you can see, the kitchen has changed just a little bit, but also because we are in the 40s, we can now have a washing machine and a dryer. So I have added a laundry room to the house. So the back area that used to be the laundry area with the washing lines has now been extended out, and I have put in a washing area here. We now have this beautiful laundry room for Gemma to do the laundry in, and so it is absolutely gorgeous. But I do just want to go ahead and quickly go over the changes of the decades, because we do have some rules to go over. So let's quickly just do that. So for the decades rules, it states that all rules from the 1930s still stand with the following changes. War. All male Sims who are already a young adult when the 1940s began are drafted for World War II. They can try for a baby before they are called to service. Make them eat the cow plant once. Roll a die. Odds must eat a second piece of cake. Events are sent home. Blah, blah, blah. We actually use the war mod, so I'm not going to be having to do that. All male Sims who become a young adult during this decade will not be drafted but must get a career. I've already decided who is going to war and have set out who's going to war based on which year they're going to war. So that's already been taken care of, and you guys will be seeing that as those years unfold. So all of the war stuff has been handled. For traits, any male Sim returning from war must suffer trauma and take one of the following traits the next time they age up: gloomy, hot-headed, clumsy, insane, lazy, mean, paranoid, or non-committal. So when they age up the next time, we will give them a negative trait. Relationships and woohooing. Sims may have relationships with other ethnicities and races, but they cannot marry. I'm actually probably not going to follow this. I am going to just allow them to marry whoever they want to marry. I haven't been following this throughout the entire series. Every home and building, every house must have a victory garden with at least 4 plants. Every house must have a radio, and someone must listen to it for at least an hour a day. Coffee makers are allowed. Fitness equipment, including the training bot, is allowed for athletes and military only. Soundtastic jukebox is now allowed. Winter holiday music is allowed. Large commercial farm greenhouses are allowed, and thermostats are allowed. For education, teens are no longer sent away for bad grades. World War II lasted from 1939 to early fall of 1945, but the U.S. did not enter the war until early winter of 1941. If your Sim wants to attend university, they may do so after they have served active duty for at least a minimum of 8 Sim days. The GI Bill was introduced in 1944, so from this point forward, any veterans can receive half of their tuition for free. Using the money cheats, we can give the household these funds. Sims can now major in culinary arts or psychology at university. For careers, male Sims are permitted the following careers: actor, athlete, bodybuilder, civil engineer, criminal, critic, culinary, detective, doctor, education, engineer, entertainer, freelancer, gardener, interior decorator, law, military, painter, politics, scientist, secret agent, veterinarian, writing. Young adult veterans cannot have a career until they have served in active duty for a minimum of 8 Sim days. And young adult male Sims who are not veterans must have a career. Female Sims must have a career. So we will get all of our female Sims a career. Once they are married, they may keep their career or leave to become a housewife, their choice. They are permitted the following careers: actor, athlete, civil designer, criminal, culinary, engineer, entertainer, freelance, gardener, interior decorator, law, military, painter, secret agent, writing. Teens are allowed and encouraged to have part-time work. And these are the part-time work that they're allowed to have. And for holidays, we are now allowed to have holiday decorations, so we can now decorate our homes on the outside. And we are allowed to have one hot cooked meal per day. Otherwise, we have to eat from scavenging, fishing, and gardening. We can take medicine now when we are sick. Babies can be born at home or at the hospital. The veterinary profession can become more common. We take our pet to the vet if we're sick. Spaying and neutering is an option now for our pets. We can use washing machines and dryers, and we can now use photo studio items. So that is all the things that are changes for the 1940s. So our first family that is preparing for war is Clarence O'Hara and his beautiful bride, Bianca. And they are newly married, and he obviously has been drafted into the war. As we know, he just lost recently his brother Liam. And so he is going, and he is pretty nervous to be going to the war, but he does have to head off and go to the war. Now, Bianca is expecting their first child, and she is not at all ready for him to be going to war, but he is going to have to tell her that he is ready to be shipped off. He's going to go ahead and tell her that it is time for him to head off and, just let her know that he's going to miss her and that hopefully he'll be home before she knows it. He is hoping that nothing bad will happen to him and that he's going to be able to come back to her, and he'll be here before the baby is born. But if not, shortly thereafter, he's just really hoping that nothing bad happens. And she is obviously concerned with the fact that there may be something that might happen to him. She doesn't necessarily know that he's going to come back, and she is pretty concerned with the fact that her new husband is going off to war. But she also understands that there's a duty that he has to his country, and she is understanding that even though she doesn't want him to go, she's not going to stop him. She's not going to pitch a fit and create a ruckus like the other ladies did in the last episode. She's just going to try to be understanding of the fact that this just is the way it is, and war is upon them. And unfortunately, in times of war, there are things that have to be done, such as losing your husband to war, and you have to stand by your husband and be supportive and just hope that they come back. And so that is exactly what she's going to do. So Clarence is going to go ahead and head off to the base, and we will go ahead and split him off from the family and let him head over to the base so that he can be with his brothers, because they are already on the base waiting for his arrival. And over in Willow Creek, we have Emery and his wife Cassandra, and they are preparing for the same thing. And Emery has to let Cassandra know that he also has to head off to join his brothers at battle. And she also is expecting, as you can see, she is quite pregnant with their child. And he just has to let her know that it is time also for him to go ahead and ship off to war. So he is just letting her know how much he loves her and that he is going to be with her in her heart no matter what happens to him. He's just letting her know, I really do love you, and this baby, I hope to get back to you as soon as possible. I don't think anything's going to happen to me, but you never can tell. But just know that you and this baby mean everything to me, but I have a duty to protect and serve, and that is exactly what I plan to do. So I hope that you understand. And she's like, of course I understand. Of course I do. So these two are, on the same page as the other two. She understands that there is nothing that he can do. He has to go because the war is here upon them. All the men are getting called away to war. They're going to have themselves a nice little embrace. She's going to tell him goodbye, and she's just like, come home safely to me, dear, and we'll be waiting for you. And these two are very much in love, and she knows that as soon as he can get back to her that he will, and she has all the faith in the world that he'll be able to return to her. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to send Emery off to be with his brothers, and we're going to go check in with the guys at the base camp.
We have arrived here at the base camp with the guys, and as you can see, they have all been drafted for war. And they are all pretty nervous, all with the exception of Emery. He seems to be pretty pumped about the reason that he is going to war. He feels like a hero because he is drafted, and the other guys are all pretty tense. Overall, they know that they have a duty to protect and serve, and they have all recently lost their brother Liam, and they lost another family member, Judd, and so they want to do their part in serving in this war. So they have shown up here and are waiting for their orders to go and file into battle. They just have to kill some time until it is their turn to go to the battlefield and serve in, do what it is that they're called to do. So in the meantime, we are here at the base camp, and we are going to see what it is that the men have to get into and how it is that they are going to spend their time while they are waiting for those orders. And it looks like, first and foremost, they're all feeling pretty peckish, so they're going to sit down and all have a little bit of a meal together. It's been a while since they've all been together, and they have all been living separately. They all have their own lives now with their wives, and they have babies on the way. The only two that didn't marry off is Franklin and Samuel. They are still single and chose not to marry. They are confirmed bachelors that have just been drafted into the war as single men, and they were just working and then were called into the war, and so now they are here to serve their time, and then once they go back to their lives, they will just go back to their jobs, and if in the future they decide to marry, then obviously they would be able to marry at that point, but up until now they haven't found anyone that they were keen to marry, so they haven't married at this point. And it looks like poor Franklin here doesn't actually like the guitar, but that's fine. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not a fan. And he is just having a sit down here. Franklin is having a chat with Samuel, and they are just getting on with one another here as they have a little bit of a chat, and they are all just going to gather here by the fire pit and just have a little bit of a conversation about how things have been lately and what everyone has been up to. They're discussing their lives and what each other have been lacking in each other's lives. Hey brother, like, what have you been up to lately? Tell me about your life. What have you been doing with your career? And just kind of catching up. As you can see, there is high tension in the area. They are really, really stressed. They know that this is something that they have to do, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're happy about it. They are really stressed about the fact that they do have to go and serve. Now, you do need to understand these gentlemen are quite young still. So this would be scary for them to have to go and serve in battle. I mean, they're young men that would be thinking that they had their whole lives ahead of them, and now here they are staring down possibly the face of death. And they don't know what's going to happen to them. They did recently just lose a brother. They are understandably nervous about the fact that they are having to do this whole war business. They are enjoying the fact that they are all together again and getting to know one another again and getting to spend time together. It has been a long time since they have been quote unquote under the same roof. It's been since they were all in the O'Hara household together that they've all been together. But it's under really sad circumstances that they are all together again. And so it is really unfortunate. That being said, we do have Samuel in here. He has decided to go ahead and whip up something for everyone to eat, which we love. So he is just in here just cooking away. As you can see, he is very sad right now from a loss in the family. Everyone is really feeling the loss of Liam and Judd. They are taking that into account as they are not only tense but are also very sad. Obviously, Emery and Clarence have other feelings that they are feeling because they're newlyweds, and so they have feelings of love and happiness in their lives as well because they have things to celebrate, such as the birth or upcoming births of their babies and other emotions that they are feeling. But these guys that are single here, they are really only dealing with the sadness and the loss and the fear that they're feeling towards this war. So they don't really have anything that's really keeping them and their spirits uplifted. So they are really feeling this tension. They are like, we don't have anything that's kind of keeping us going. We don't have a wife. We don't have babies on the way. All we can see is our loss and our fear, and it's really causing their mood to be down. And they aren't like the other two. And that the other two have something that's kind of giving them a little bit of hope. And these two don't have that. They're lacking that. So that's really difficult for them to be inspired and confident at this present moment because all they can think about is, look, like we had a brother go into this and he didn't make it out. And you two are like all hopeful and shit. And we don't feel that. We don't feel that hope. All we feel is dismay. And it's really causing some struggles. But everyone's going to go ahead and get a little bit of rest. And it looks like Emery has acquired crab lice. Okay, well, that's great. So when he gets up, I'm going to have to send him to the store for some medicine. Thank goodness it's the 40s and we can take medicine. So we'll go ahead and get him some medicine. And he can get some medicine for that. And we'll get him treated up before he heads off to war. Because, that's unfortunate. So we will go ahead and get that taken care of for him. And then we will let everyone begin their day. I'm sure everyone can go ahead and get themselves some food for the day. They'll probably do some working out possibly. And just more conversing with one another. There isn't a whole lot here to do on the base camp other than wait. They can play the guitar, they can work out, they can do a little bit of washing and a little bit of cooking. But really what's awful about base camp is all you can really do is sit and wait and be anxious. And they are definitely doing a lot of that. There is a lot of high tension, a lot of nerves, and a lot of anxiety in this place. And unfortunately that is just the way it works when you're waiting to be called into battle. And they are definitely feeling a lot of that. So that does look like they have about 17 hours until they're called into battle. And so we are just now waiting for them to kill some time. As you can see, Franklin is having a little bit of a chat with Clarence. And Clarence is like, look, man, it's going to be okay. We're going to make it through this. There's nothing for us to worry about. Like, we're going to be fine. You just have to have a little bit of hope. And he's like, how can you say that? How can you have hope? We literally just lost Liam and Judd. This war is going to be the death of us all. And he's like, you can't think like that, man. You just have to think like we're all going to be fine. And he's like, but what if we're not all fine? As you can see, Emery has returned from the store. We're going to go ahead and get him into the bathtub and he can take some medicine and we can cure him of his dreaded illness here and get him all better, which is going to be perfect because we don't want him being infested with lice. So it looks like we have taken care of that problem and he is all better. So hooray for that. And then we will go ahead and check on the others and make sure they're doing good. Poor Franklin is really, really feeling the tension. I think out of all of our men, he's feeling the most tension. Franklin, he reminds me so much of Frederick. He really, really does. I think out of all of the boys, all of the O'Hara boys, Franklin looks the most like Frederick. He really, really reminds me of Frederick the most. And every time I see him, I think of our dear Frederick that we lost in World War I. And it just really takes me back. But he is definitely the most sensible, I think, out of all of the men that are here right now. And he is like, you guys are not thinking clearly. All you're thinking of is with your emotions of, being in love right now. And I understand that you're all in love and you're happy and you're peppy and all of this, but you're not thinking realistically, like, we are going to war. This is war. And, this is serious stuff. Like, you can't go in there thinking, all hearts and bubbles. Like, this is serious stuff. And so, unfortunately, he is extremely stressed about this situation, and nothing that any of the other brothers say to him is getting him out of his anxiety over this war. So he is feeling the most tension out of all of the brothers. And Clarence has just gone ahead and started a fire. It looks like he wants to just have a little bit of fire time. And so we'll just go ahead and let him relax by the fire. But I'm going to have them go ahead and work out a little bit. Okay, we have actually got like a fire going. Like somebody is on fire. Okay, this is great. Nothing like starting the campfire on fire. Okay, and just like that, our boys are panicking. Emery and Samuel are fleeing the scene, and the other two are to the rescue and putting the fire out. Boys, if this is how you're going to be behaving, this is not a good sign.
Nope.
Okay, well, Emery and Samuel flew the scene when the time got tough. I hope this is not how you behave when it comes time for actual war, because that is not a good sign. Oh my goodness. This is bad. This is so bad. We have war shipping out in 14 hours time. Everyone, as you can see, is really, really tense with the exception of Emery. Emery's like, I have a hero's farewell, and he's all like feeling really, really pumped about it. Even though he totally just ran from a fire. So he feels like a hero, but he is a little bit of a scaredy cat.
Bruh.
But I mean, we won't mention that again, Emery, we won't. But I am a little worried for you. I am not going to lie. I am a little worried for you. So I am just going to see if I can get the guys to do a little bit of a workout. I think that it will be good for them. And just like that, we have someone that has violated some privacy. Now we have embarrassed feelings. We love that. The troubles of having a one bathroom with all of these Sims. It is such a struggle. But it is getting late. I am probably going to go ahead and let everyone go ahead and settle in for the night and get some rest. And then in the morning, everyone can go ahead and get themselves some breakfast. And then they should be getting ready for shipping out soon thereafter. And we will be seeing them head off to battle. So let's go ahead and have everyone go ahead and get ready for bed. You don't even like the guitar. I'm not sure why you're playing it, Emery. He's like, I just wanted to give it a try. I really suck at it, but I just wanted to see if maybe I was any good. You can try and see if you're any good at this guitar business, but I don't think that you're a fan of the guitar. I know Franklin isn't, but I didn't think you liked the guitar so much either, but that's perfectly fine if you want to give it a go. We will let you give it a shot. But everyone is going to go ahead and call it a night. I'm going to get everyone to bunk down for the evening. And I will see you guys in the morning. Good morning. It is about 3 o'clock in the morning. Everyone has risen. It is bright and early. We have some people that are quite hungry. We have really high tensions. It is getting really, really close to the time that they ship off. They are going to go ahead and have themselves some breakfast, use the facilities because we have some that need some bladder needs. Everyone is feeling really sad. We had a family member, a distant relative, not anyone close in the family, but a distant relative pass away in the middle of the night, and everyone got a phone call. So there was that. And now we are going to just let everyone grab some food. As you can see, once again, Samuel has gone ahead and cooked up some food. It would seem that he really, really likes to cook, which I think is amazing. So he's cooked everyone up something to eat. He is feeling extremely tense from the fire, extremely tense from having to ship out, and saddened from the loss of someone in the family. And so he is just really, really under it today. Everyone is really, really feeling some kind of way. So we'll get them all to try to get their needs up as best we can so that I can try to get their mood in as good of a mood as I can before they all have to ship out. I don't think I can help with the tension, but I'll do the best that I can. But they do all ship out in 5 hours time, so we will have 5 hours here to go ahead and try to get their needs to the green area and get them all in as best of a place as I can get them, and then they will be shipping out to go to war, and we will be seeing how everyone does in the battle. Guys, it is getting really, really close. My nerves are getting really, really bad. I don't know who we're going to lose in this war, and I am extremely nervous. I know that we lost 2 in our last battle. If things go like they did last time, we will probably lose 2 again in this battle, because generally with the war mod, we do lose 50% of our sims. So the luck of the draw is that we're going to lose 2 more sims in this war as well. And I have no idea who it's going to be. And I'm extremely nervous about it, but probably not as nervous as they are. They are extremely, extremely anxious about the fact that they don't know if it's going to be them or not. And it is high, high tension. Not only them, but me. So we are just going to get Emery to clean up around the campground here, or the base camp here. And as you can see, Franklin is playing some mischief on him. He's like, why are you being like this? And he's like, I'm just trying to relieve some tension. I'm freaking out. Are you not freaking out? And Emery's like, I am a little bit freaking out. Now that it's getting closer, I'm realizing this is actually kind of serious. I have a kid to get back to, a wife to get back to. What happens if something happens to me? And he's like, if something happens to you, I live in the same house that you live in. Like, it's a duplex. I'll help take care of your wife. And he's like, will you? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, if something happens to me, you promise you'll take care of her? And he's like, of course I will. So they've made a pact that if something were to happen to him, that Franklin is going to take care of his wife. And so hopefully, nothing does happen to Emery. But if something does happen to Emery, Franklin has promised him that he's going to take care of his wife. And so that does make him feel a little bit better that someone is going to take care of Cassandra if for some reason something were to happen to him. So we are getting really, really close, guys. I'm telling you, I'm really nervous. I'm really nervous because I know that at any given moment they're going to head on out and they are going to go. Look, they're doing the laundry all by themselves. I didn't even tell them to do that. These boys are such good boys. They really are. And I love the fact that Cora did such a good job raising her kids, and they have turned out to be such great men. And no, you can't go to work, you have to go to war. So we're going to make him miss work because any given moment now we are going to be heading off to war. In 44 minutes, the men are shipping out. And it is time for the guys to head out and go fight in the battle of their lives. Guys, it is time. We are heading to war. Our boys are going to become men, and we're going to see what happens to our men. And they are all going now to find out who is going to make it in this battle of the Great War. And look how sad they are as they all in a single file line go out to battle. And there they go, sauntering off so slowly, so sadly. And they are officially at war. We have our first war veteran back, and let's see what the results are. Oh my God, we have a fallen soldier. We regret to inform you that Samuel has fallen in the line of duty. Oh my God. No. Guys, we have lost Samuel in the war. We regret to inform you that Samuel has fallen in the line of duty. Our nation is grateful for the service of all those who lay down their lives to protect our citizens and our communities. We mourn with you at this difficult time and hope you can be comforted by the presence of family and friends. Samuel has died in the war. Oh my goodness. And we have another soldier home. It looks like Emery has returned. And let's see how he fares. And we have another fallen soldier. Oh my God. Emery has died in the war. Oh my God. Oh, we have lost another one. And he has now left his bride and his unborn baby alone, and it says once again that we have lost another soldier and that they've given their condolences, and Emery has died in the war. And we have back from war. Franklin is back from the war, but he is a changed man. And of course he just found his two brothers that he's lost. And Clarence is back from the war, and he is a changed man. And he has just come across his brothers that he has lost. So Clarence and Franklin have made it. Franklin is obviously going to need to take care of Emery's wife because Emery has now passed in this war. Clarence will obviously be going back to his wife. But we have lost two more men in the war, and this is really tragic news. We will be taking their gravestones with us so that we can put them in the memorial garden. This is horrible. So we will go ahead and engrave Samuel's, and we'll say, Samuel O'Hara, you will be missed, brother. Died in World War II in the year of 1940. And we'll just go ahead and grab that up and put that in our inventory. Oh man, this is so difficult. These two are so distraught over the loss of their brothers. They have now lost 3 brothers to this war. This war is taking so much from them. And the Grim is just taking his dear sweet time. Like, honestly, Grim, can't you see how hard this is on them? Why are you just standing there? Just do what you have to do so that we can go ahead and take his tombstone to his wife. Okay, let's go ahead and engrave the epitaph, and we will say, Emery O'Hara, loving husband and father, or husband and father, you will be missed. Died in World War II in the year of 1940. Okay. And we will grab his and put it in the inventory. And then we will go ahead and have to take that over to his wife so that she will have that available so that she can put it in the memorial garden when it is time for us to do that. We have arrived here at Emery's place, and as you can see, Clarence is just greeting his wife Cassandra, and he's just going to console her about the death and just advise her, I'm really sorry about the loss of your husband in the war. I am so sorry to have to bring you this bad news, and I just wanted to let you know that I am terribly sorry for your loss. Here is his tombstone, and I know that, you know, this was not at all what you were hoping was coming home to you, but this is all I can really offer you. And she is going to say, you know, thank you for bringing this home to me. I really appreciate it. I do need to go now. This is obviously, you know, really bad news, and I need to go cry and lie down. Obviously this dress is not good for her or the baby, and she is distraught over the loss of her husband. And Clarence is also very, very sad. He just lost a brother, 2 brothers, and he is going to go ahead and head home to his wife because he has not yet been home to let her know that he has made it safe and sound from the war. But he needs to let her know that he's returned because, you know, he did make it home from the war, and it is a time for him to be able to celebrate with his wife that he has arrived back home safely. So he is going to go ahead and head home. So we have arrived back at Clarence's house, and he is going to go ahead and go over here and just give Bianca a big hug and just tell her how happy he is to be home, that he is obviously thrilled to be here, but he is terribly sad because he has just lost 2 of his brothers in the war. He is thrilled that he's home, but he is not the same man that he was obviously when he left. He has seen a lot. He has experienced a lot. He has been changed by this war, and he is distraught right now. He's extremely sad. She is thrilled that her husband is home. She is like, you know, look, I'm still pregnant. You came home just like you said you would. You know, the baby's kicking, and he's like, honey, I just need to go inside. I just need to lay down for a minute. I need to, you know, just get a little bit off my chest. And she's like, that's fine, dear. I'm just going to go out. I'm going to go tend to the plants. Come out and help me when you're feeling up to it. So she's going to go out and she's going to tend to their garden because they do have themselves a victory garden out here. She is so thrilled that her husband has made it home. They are going to have themselves a lovely little family now that he's been able to come home from the war and he's returned safe and sound. And she is thrilled by this news and so lucky and so blessed that, you know, she has a husband that was able to return home to her. She knows that she is a very blessed person because not everyone is that blessed. There are a lot of women right now that are losing their spouses, and she knows that she's very lucky to have hers that got to come back home to her. And even though Clarence is happy to be back home, he also has, I think, a little bit of survivor's guilt. His brother Emery has a wife and a baby that didn't get to come home, and he's like, why me? Why did I get to come back home? Why did I get to survive when Emery didn't? How is that fair? And I think he feels a little bit bad. He's so happy to be home, don't get him wrong, but also he just feels really guilty that Emery's wife Cassandra is going to have to raise her baby by herself when Bianca gets to have him, and he doesn't understand. But guys, I am going to go ahead and leave this episode here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when new episodes go live on the channel. And I will see you guys in our next episode of 1941. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and fly for now. Bye, Ravens.